And this is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor KC9VKV calling CQ. CQ. Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor calling CQ and listening.
This is Kilo Charlie 2 Zulu Victor Mexico.
Station Indian Mexico. I come back with a call sign slowly phonetically.
Kilo Charlie 2 Zulu Victor Mexico.
Was that Zulu Victor Mexico?
Kilo Charlie 2 Zanzibar Victoria Mexico. QSO.
Roger. That's what I was saying. ZVM. Roger. This is KC9VKV. The name here is Jim. Juliet India Mike. Roger.
Roger, Jim. My name is John. Julie Oscar Henry Norway. And, I had my beam pointed to Omen because I was trying to work the guy. So you come on frequency and you just start calling CQ. This band was in use. I just couldn't get swung around fast enough to tell you it was in use.
Roger. I didn't hear anything, sir. I'm sorry to say if I drop down to 100 watts, that's 100 watts right there. I don't know what kind of copy you've got, but I asked three times if the frequency was in use. I didn't hear anything.
Yeah, no, I just couldn't swing the beam around fast enough. You're out of the west. I'm pointing due west right now, and I was pointing due east, so I was catching you on the backside of my antenna. It's no big deal now. It's gone, so I was trying to work them, but it's no big deal. This is Kilo Charlie 2 Zulu Victor Mexico. Over.
Roger. John, what's your location, sir?
I'm in New York, Port Jervis, New York.
All right. Well, let me. Now I'm going to rotate this beam up to 45 degrees. Would that be true from Louisville to New York?
I would be probably northeast.
Roger. Yeah, I think. Well, let me go 0 degrees, and we'll come back from that. 0 degrees should be north, and then I'll pull back from that. Tell me what kind of antenna system you're running there, John?
I'm on a KJ 2-element 40-meter beam up about 75, 80 feet on a KJ, it's a Tertiary, I can't even pronounce the tower. It's a crank up. Just below it is a Mosley. It's a 34 XL with the work bands on it. I am running a ST450B mobile radio and also an Amtron ALS 500M, which came out of my vehicle also. I just put all this stuff back together. I had ripped my whole radio station apart here about 6 months ago. I was planning on moving down south to it's in West Union, Walhalla, South Carolina. The only thing I didn't get down was the tower, and the wire, which was pretty good. So with this coronavirus and everything that's going on, I decided to peel my radio out of my pickup and use it back in the QPH. Over.
Roger that. So again, your location, you're up around New York. Is that a roger?
Yeah, I'm about 75 miles due west of New York City. I'm in a little spot called Port Jervis, New York, Matamoros, Pennsylvania, and High Point, New Jersey, right in that whole location, tri-state area. Over.
Roger. Well, I've got my I've got two 10-foot magnetic loop and vertical magnetic loop antennas. One's on a rotor, and I've got it swung at 0 degrees right at the moment, and it's giving me about 5 dB hotter signal than my dipole. So I think I'm going to leave it at 0 degrees. It may not be or might be on you, I don't know, but I am copying you better on it than the dipole, so I'm just going to leave it alone, Roger.
Roger that, Jim. You know, the band is opening, moving around a little bit. You were 5.9 plus 10 at the end of your transmission. You were 5.9. Over.
Roger, John. I'm copying you on, like I said, the 10-foot mag loop antenna, and I'm looking at your audio on a VU meter. I have a really reduced RF front end on the receiver, so I can't actually give you an S meter reading, but I can give you a dB over noise reading since I'm looking at your audio, and I've calibrated my VU meter to 0 level on your peaks, and then when you cease speaking, I'm looking at my noise, so you were about 10 dB above my residual noise level, Roger.
Yeah, Roger that. What kind of unit are you running, Jim?
This is an older Yaesu FT990. It's pretty heavily modified coming and going. And we usually run QSO-VLOG net on this frequency on Friday afternoons. But I've got a couple of things I need to check out, and that's what we're doing right now. One of them, we had to perform a little surgery on our SB220 antenna relay. It had become kind of in and out from time to time, and so the option was to repair it or replace it. And we decided to repair it, so we did put the old 220 on its side, and I used a soldering iron to reduce or to delete the interlock on the plastic see-through cover on the relay, and just took the cover off the relay and used a little sandpaper maneuver there, some 400 to knock off the dips and tits, and then we used some 3000 to polish it up, and all the time we were using some WD-40 lubricating the sandpaper as we worked forward. Roger.
Roger. Well, it seems to be working very well for you. You're coming in very strong. Like I said, the band is moving around quite a bit right now, so you dropped down about 2 dB. You're about a 5.7.5, 5.8, somewhere right around in there, Jim. Over.
Roger that. Yeah, I noticed Mother Nature is not solid. Well, every once in a while she gets that way, but a lot of times she just stays in a constant kind of flex situation, in and out, up and down, Roger.
Oh, Roger. Well, Monday I put it all back together, and I just hit it just right. The SFU was around 80, I think it was 81 or something like that, so I was able to work, several bands out there. It was opened up a little bit, but I'm still waiting for the sun to come alive and be able to, talk like I used to all over the place. So I'm looking forward to the new sun, maximum. This solar minimum has been quite long. Over.
Roger that. And you were saying you have a directional antenna. What kind of antenna are you running?
KJ402, which I bought this probably about 8-9 years ago when he first went in business out of Connecticut, and I don't know if Force 12 bought him out or if he bought Force 12 out. Nevertheless, if you go out on his website, they're selling each other, so it's a very nice antenna, very well built, very happy with it. I've talked to Saudi Arabia with it. I've talked all over the world with it. It really works good for only 2 elements. Over.
Oh, Roger that, Roger that. Well, that's the name of the game, to be able to have some options as far as receiving. I usually try to keep 3 or 4 things going when we do our QSO-VLOG net on Friday afternoons on this frequency. I run 4 internet SDR receivers and monitor Rochester, New York, Atlanta, Milford, and Arlington, Virginia, simultaneous with the local receiver. And the local receiver, we're running, like I say, the magnetic loops. We have 2 of those, one east and west, one north and south, and the north and south is on a rotor, so we can move it around. And also we have our dipole that we use for transmit, and we can use that for receive also. So, we have quite a few options as far as receive, Roger.
Roger, it sounds like you're quite busy, monitoring all that frequency there.
Roger. Well, we do help out a bunch of folks in their setup for their radios. That's the main thing we do. We've probably done about 250 7300 setups. And a lot of those are 100-watt stations, and so we have to try to get a pretty good signal to be able to hear exactly what they're doing, to be able to help them with their EQ. And so the 4 internet SDRs, we have a grid there that we pretty much can get closer to them to help out their 100 watts. Roger.
That's really wonderful. My new call is Kilo 9 Victor.
Oh, the call sign is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, and the name is Jim, Juliet, India, Mike.
Roger, Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. All right, Jim. Well, I really appreciate you, coming back to me, and no worries. I was trying to work Omen, but it's not a big deal. I could barely hear him in the first place. I didn't call for him. I was waiting for the band to open up a little bit more, but with the band moving around, it doesn't look like I was gonna really make it. It just, I couldn't believe that you were coming in so strong on my antenna.
Roger. Well, we do have a setup when we were building our station. We knew we were going to be a QSO-VLOG network station, so we really wanted to get our stuff together. And our mantra as we built the station was 20 over from Montreal to Miami, with a hotspot through the Carolinas. And by and large, it turned out pretty close that way, Roger.
Roger, he's doing a nice job. I'm really impressed with it. So kudos to you and all the operators that were part of this.
Roger. Well, listen, if you get a chance, drop by tomorrow afternoon. We go at 3:30 till 5, and we record. And matter of fact, we are recording now. This is, like I say, a test operation to test out to be sure our SB220 is together. But we are recording. So if you were to go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, that would take you to our QSO-VLOG page. And on that page, we have about 1,070 QSO-VLOG recordings. But you would be looking for one that is My Group Air Check, and it would have your call in the title, Roger. And it would probably be a couple of days before we get it uploaded.
All right, Jim, very good. I know that you were calling CQ, so I'm going to, run around the frequencies and see what I can peel out. Great talking to you. I'll stop in tomorrow around 3:30 to 5 o'clock and see how this operation actually works. It was great talking to you, and I'll be catching up with you down the line another day. So, Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor, Jim. This is Kilo Charlie 2, Zanzibar, Victoria, Mexico. John, clear.
Roger, Roger, John. 3's that way, sir. And probably like we usually have Charlie K1GZL from up around the Canadian border join us from like 3:30 to 3:40, and then after that, it just gets busier as we go. So anytime after 3:40, 3:45, somewhere in there would be really good. 3's John, good to make your acquaintance, sir, and you have a best as you can as you deal with the situation, and we all have to deal with the situation until things get under control. So 3's up that way, John. This is KC9VKV.
KC9VKV, God bless, 7-3. This is Kilo Charlie 2, Victor, Mexico, clear.
This is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor, Kilo Victor, listening. November 2 station, come back with your call again, please.
November 2 station, come back with your call again, please. Yes, it's November 2, November Foxtrot, Don in New York.
Roger, Don. I'm copying you on the Rochester Internet SDR. You're giving them about an 8 over, Roger, Roger.
You're giving them about an 8 over, Roger, Roger. Oh, very good, very good. You're on a little song. Power to it. You run a kilowatt, you were saying?
Okay, I'm sorry there, Don. I was trying to find a better antenna, and I am running at this time 2 10-foot magnetic loop antennas, and I did find a better copy than Rochester. So tell me about your antenna system, if you would.
Well, yeah, it's a 4-square. I got a 4-square, 4-stage vertical. I built the mapping network, got the board out of Sweden, and populated the board, and I'm kind of pointing in your direction, I'm phased in your direction, if you will. Jim, go ahead.
Roger, Roger. I'm just bringing up, we usually run 4 internet SDRs, and this afternoon, we're just kind of running a test transmission to check out our SV220. We did a little surgery there, and so I'm only running 1 Rochester, but I have brought Milford up, and Milford does a beautiful job also. Sometimes, if you're in New York, the New York SDR might be just a little bit too close. So, right now we're going to check out Milford when you come back, Roger.
Milford when you come back, Roger. All right. That's right. I'm 150 miles from New York. I'm sure you know that. Yeah, you're 5'9". You're just under 5'9" here on my meter. I'm not sure if calibrated or whatever, but you're kind of zooming in. And I just wondered, like I say, earlier you may not have been on a magnetic loop.
All right, yeah, I was just trying to, I've got that, the one that's on the rotor is, I'm running it at 0 degrees, and probably for New York from here, I should be about 45 degrees or thereabouts, but it seems to be pretty hot where it is, so I guess I'll just leave it like it is. Now, we're just doing all this on the receive side. Our transmit is just a constant on the dipole, Roger.
sort of null?
Gosh, Don, you did slip down to about 2 dB above my noise. Still, I'm on my mag loop antenna. You might check your ALC to be sure you're mid-scale to 2/3. We usually run a QSO-VLOG on Friday afternoons on this frequency, where we do quite a bit of tune-up assist. And so, yeah, just check your ALC to be sure you are mid-scale to 2/3, which should give you about a 3 dB dynamic range and average percent of peak modulation somewhere around 80 to 85%.
So I'm over modulating. I could be too close to the microphone. This might be a little better. I tend to get up on the high side isolated. It seems to be okay. I guess still need to report on it, but if I keep my head away from it, my guys.
Roger. Conditions kind of dropped down a little bit. Anyway, Don, we are recording the QSO, so if you would like to hear what your station sounds like, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, that should take you to our QSO-VLOG net, and we are currently running about 1,070 recorded QSO-VLOGs. This one would be on page 1, and it'll probably be graphically ID'd as my group air check test, but we should have your call sign in the title. Roger?
Roger. Very good. I'll check that out. Do you think maybe, Saturday, Sunday, it'll be up there? It won't be up there right away?
Usually it takes us a couple of days to get it up there, about 48 hours, Roger.
Sort of thing. I make a sticky note here for myself. Yeah. Well, very good. I don't want to hold you up. I just see you coming in, and I just I look at the local magnetic group that I'm not sure about on the bus, and realize you're running stuff with N2Nnf So. I just wanted to kind of was my question. You answered it, and very good. Well, stay safe, sir, and we'll let you go so maybe somebody else calls.
Roger, Don, 3 such ways, sir. Have a good afternoon, and yeah, if you get a chance, join us tomorrow afternoon between 3:30 and 5 on this frequency, 7188. 3, sir. Catch you later. This is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, listening.
Nancy 5 Echo Charlie Tango.
Echo Charlie Tango. Come back with a call again, please.
November 5 Echo Charlie Tango, located on a chicken farm in north central Arkansas. Name is Doug.
But Doug, you're coming in off the back of my whatever. I don't know. I don't usually go west. What was your location again?
North central Arkansas.
Roger. I usually don't go north too often. Well, I don't get a lot of a lot of west response. I primarily kind of oriented towards the East Coast, Montreal to Miami, with a hot spot through the Carolinas, and I don't get a lot of traffic out of the west. So, good afternoon to you, sir.
Thank you, Tim. I was sitting here listening, and I got my first license in the early 50s, and it was quite active for quite a few years. In the last 4, 5, or 6 years, I've only been active contesting mainly on 160, and I'm amazed to hear your conversation this morning, identifying some stuff that I didn't realize was going on here. You obviously have access to several remote sites. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Usually when we run our QSO-VLOG net, we're running 4 internet SDR receivers simultaneous as we run the net, plus our 2 or 3 or 4 local antennas. So we do have a lot of options. Roger?
Okay, so you use the word we which indicates that you must have a group of people involved in this. Is that correct?
Well, it's psychological we. It's me, but it's we. You know, kind of a divergence of personality, I guess. I don't know.
Well, who maintains the remote receivers?
Well, now these are what they are tablets. They're Fire Stick tablets, and I have 4 of them on kind of a slanted, almost well, it's laid back a little bit so they will stay put. But I have these 4 Internet SDR Amazon Fire tablets, and they are, you know, the audio outs go to a 6-position input selector switch. So I have audio from 4 Fire tablets, plus my receiver come up on a rotary selector switch, and so I can just you know, there's nothing faster than a rotary switch for comparing different signals. So I just zing, you know, with the rotary switch and find out you know, which one it was hotter. You know, it's just like a scanner almost.
Oh, Jim, I am so surprised. Embarrassed would be the word. I don't have the slightest idea what you're talking about here. Hey, I've been around a while. So these receivers are your source of measuring or listening. Obviously, is very directional receivers. Is it something off away from your location?
Yes, there are Internet SDR receivers all over the country. And what we do, I've picked out 4 of them to form a grid so I can have a better chance of copying my 100-watt friends as we run our QSO-VLOG net on this frequency Friday afternoons between 3:30 and 5. And I'm monitoring an SDR receiver that's in Rochester, one's in Atlanta, one's in Milford, Pennsylvania, and the other's in Arlington, Virginia. And these are, you know, these are stations that are located in those locales that are internet, and they're feeding their signal. I can bring them up on my, you know, my little computers here, my little jobbers, and then they have an audio out, and I just run the audio out to my input select switch, and so that's what I, you know, that's what I hear when. You know, I run the 6-position rotary switch. I hear the outputs from these Fire tablets, which are monitoring the internet locations. Roger.
Oh, I feel so inadequate here. You're giving so much information as though I understood everything you're talking about. We're going to have to start out from the beginning, Jim. I get the impression that there are amateurs that devote some of their time and station to receiving signals and making it available to the internet from their base station. Is that correct?
Roger. Basically, that is it. And they are usually, most all are amateur operators, and they have these SDR receivers. And usually one SDR receiver can accommodate maybe 12, 15 different stations coming in through the internet to get their output. Roger.
I'm going to have to get out of here. I've got too many questions on this. I am just really embarrassed at how much of this is going over my head, and I'm supposed to know something about radio. KC9VKV, Nancy 5 Echo Charlie Tango. Good evening, Jim. Thank you much.
Well, don't run off, Doug. Gosh, we are recording, sir, and we'll be posting this up on YouTube in the next couple of days. If you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to our QSO-VLOG page. And right now we're running about 1,070 recorded QSO-VLOGs. This one will have it'll have a graphic that says My Group Air Check Test, but your call sign will be in the title. Roger, Roger.
Okay, Jim. Since I was primarily contesting in years past, the thought occurs to me, is this remote facility for receiving available to contesters?
Oh, sure. You just, gosh, I forget what it is. Do maybe sdr.org on your computer. Go Google search sdr.org, I think it is, and that will take you to a whole list. There's probably 3,000 SDR receivers around the world. You just pick your choice.
So Jim, does that mean that I'm sitting here contesting, breaking my butt at night 160 meters on a single vertical with several beverages here on the farm, and I'm competing against guys that have remote receivers all over the place?
Oh, yeah. Well, the thing is, now, these are just receivers. You have to do the transmit part. But, I worked California from Louisville. Used to be 2 o'clock in the morning. For whatever reason, I could go into San Francisco with a 9 over direct from Louisville to San Francisco with a 9 over, but I could not copy them back. I mean, they were just in my noise. But there's a place out there in San Francisco called Half Moon Bay that has an SDR receiver in Half Moon Bay, and I could dial that up, and I could hear them just like they were sitting in my lap. Roger?
Oh, goodness. Boy, this sure changes the things here on the chicken farm. Now I am going to be suspicious of all these several guys that are doing so much better than I on 160, since I have got 80 acres worth of coverage antennas, and around the states there are a couple guys, 3 or 4, that always seem to hear a lot better than I do. So this presents a new version of contesting to me. Yeah, I'm going to have to get out of here and think about this a little bit, Jim. KC9VKV, this is Nancy 5 Echo Charlie Tango. By the way, I'm borrowing this desk and equipment. All of this belongs to my wife, Whiskey Delta 5 Radio.
Roger. Well, she's got it together. That's a beautiful signal. You're at 10 over, Roger.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, she's got some great equipment. You better be humble to her.
Oh, in more ways than one.
3's that way. Have a good afternoon. This is KC9VKV, and we are doing some testing here this afternoon, mainly on our SV220 antenna relay, to be sure that it's ready to get up and have at it tomorrow afternoon from 3:30 to 5 as we do our QSO-VLOG net on this frequency. This is KC9VKV listening.
Kilowatt 3, Romeo Papa.
Station Romeo Papa. If I can get my stylus out of my hand and get my other pen in there. Come back with your call sign again, please, sir. Slowly, phonetically.
Sure thing, appreciate it. Kilowatt 3, Romeo Papa. I'll copy.
Copy you fine, sir. What's the name there?
Well, good afternoon. The name here is Ray, Romeo Alpha Yankee, and the QTH is Centerville, Maryland, on the eastern shore of the Chesapeake Bay, across from Annapolis and the Naval Academy. Over.
Roger there, Ray. What kind of radio are you running, sir?
The rig here on this end is a Flex 6300, and pumping out into an Elecraft KPA 500 amplifier, and the antenna is a wire at about 25 feet high, 132 feet of wire. Over.
Roger, Ray. Well, gosh, listening to your audio, I would suggest that maybe if you have a chance at some date to get a windscreen for that microphone, it would just clean up your audio just absolutely perfectly. I'm getting a little bit of transient kind of mouth noise into that mic, and a little foam windscreen, a couple of bucks, just totally solve that problem. Roger.
Roger, that's interesting. I'm using a Isle Pro 7 headset, and the boom mic on it does have windscreen on it. So that's curious. Maybe I might have to mess with some of the equalizer settings on the transmit audio. Over.
Roger. I think you might have just hit your VFO. Check your frequency. 7188.00. Roger, roger.
Roger that. I did. I'll try again. The File Pro 7 headset that I'm using with the boom mic does in fact have a windscreen on it, so maybe I need to change some of the equalizer settings on the transmit audio. Over.
No, not at all, Ray. I'll tell you what to do. Take that boom and put it straight out as far as you can put it. Just straight out, and then at the very last minute, kind of turn it towards a 90, but extend it as far out as you can, and then do your 90, Roger.
Okay, Roger, Roger. That, and see how this is. How copy now?
Sounds a lot better. Sounds a lot better. What happens is you get a little bit too close, and you know, you could run actually a double foam windscreen. You could run two windscreens, one over the other. That would solve the problem. But also just extending that mic on out a little bit, and then taking, you know, as far as you can go, and then make that 90. That gets it away from your mouth a little bit more, and really helps as far as you know, plosives and transits. Roger.
Roger that, but other than that, you're saying the audio sounds okay. Well, that's definitely a good thing. So I heard you talking about the SDR stations on the web, and so of course I'm very interested in Plus 600. I don't have it on the web option. I have some similar capabilities private, you know, for remote operation, which the other definition of listening, that does include transit as well as.
Ray, I could help you out there a little bit. Your dynamic range seems to be about 10 dB, which is unprocessed, and we could fatten you up there just a little bit if you might be interested, Roger.
Okay, I've noticed the signal level on the amplifier had dropped down a little bit, so I tried coming a little bit closer to the microphone. Let me confirm with the processor.
Ray, can you copy?
I still copy. You copy me?
Yes, sir. The thing to do, leave your mic just the way it was. Leave your mic extended out as far as it was, and just the way it was. What we'll do is a little setup if you can. The first thing to do is engage your compressor. Turn your compressor on at about a 3. Nothing higher, nothing lower. Just a 3 on the compressor. Roger?
This radio, controls I have for the compressor are, let's see, normal is the mode that it's at right now. Then I have DX, and then DX Plus, which is this last setting. Over.
All right, let's just try it with normal. Put that compressor on normal, and then let's go to the ALC. Go to your ALC with mic gain in hand, and what you want to do is turn your mic gain up or down, whatever you have to do to make your ALC meter read mid-scale to 2/3. That's what we want to do, is adjust your mic gain until your ALC meter is running mid-scale to 2/3. Roger?
Roger. Let me see what we have right now. Well, actually, it looks pretty good. It's showing about back and forth between level and 2/3.
Turn your box off, sir. This frequency is in use. Ray, okay, so you're running, seems like, double check that. You don't seem to be quite as fat as you should be, but, mid-scale to 2/3 is where you want to be running that meter. The actual sweet spot is halfway between mid-scale to 2/3, but you have to have that variance to be running across the sweet spot, Roger.
Relative to do with the smart SDR, and have to look and find AL. I don't have a control on solve that, but I do have a compression meter and a level meter, right there. See if control. So let me play around with it a little bit, Jim, and not tie up the frequency too long. Over.
Oh, Roger that. Yeah, look in your manual there for ALC. It's automatic level control, and everybody's got one. It's just like, I'm sure you do. And so you want to go in that mode to where you can see your ALC meter and then adjust your mic level for mid-scale to 2/3. And when you do that, then you'll probably have about a 3 dB dynamic range as opposed to a 10 dB dynamic range. And with a 3 dB dynamic range, your average percent of peak modulation should be around 80 to 85%, which is a very fat signal, Roger. And it should sound very clean because, what we're doing is trying to adjust these pieces of equipment, your compressor and your ALC, with finesse. That it gives you a very fast signal, but it doesn't sound like you're up against the wall or anything, Roger.
Roger that. Okay. Well, I appreciate the help there. I'm definitely going to play around with it, and now I know where you live on the band, I'll make some adjustments and read some documentation and get back in touch with you. Over.
Roger. Well, we'll be doing our QSO-VLOG net tomorrow afternoon between 3:30 and 5 on this frequency. And so you could join us there. I'd love to have you. And also, we'll have been recording this transmission, and we will be uploading this to YouTube in the next 48 hours or so. So if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to our QSO-VLOG page. We're now running about 1,070 recorded QSOs. You will be looking for one graphically. It'll say microVair check test, but your call sign will be in the title, Roger.
Roger that. Okay, I'm familiar with YouTube, obviously, and that'll be good. I'm anxious to hear how the unit sounds. Sure appreciate the help. Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, Kilo 3, Romeo Papa.
Roger, Ray. And if you join us tomorrow, we could probably work on that EQ just a little bit. There's nothing better than a well-articulated signal, and usually the brighter it is, the better it is, because it adds to the intelligibility, And we also suggest, running in the higher mode, 100 to 2900. It doesn't make any sense to run your radio in any other passband than 100 to 2900. If you get more past 2900, you incur the wrath of folks that come looking for you. And if you go lower than that, then you're rolling off your intelligibility. So 100 to 2900 bandpass is really ideal, Roger.
Really appreciate all your help today, Jim, and anxious to see how this turns out. I've had a couple of people help me on the air before adjusting transmission vibration, and that seems to make some difference. So, what this does for
Roger, Ray, 3 is that way, sir. I'm going to say 3s, and you have a really good afternoon, and hopefully you will be able to join us tomorrow afternoon on this frequency. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, getting ready to close out now, but if there's anybody left that wants a quick air check, come ahead.
Yeah,
was about 3 there, right at my noise level. Loudest one, come back.
W3Ma.
I copied W3Ma. Is that a Roger? Come back slowly with your call sign again, please.
Yeah, that's correct. It's Whiskey 3 Mike Alpha. The handle is John, John. We're located just west of Philadelphia. And they're listening to you, and gosh, you've got a great signal into the East Coast and the Pennsylvania this afternoon. Just wanted to say hello. I actually didn't write your call down. This is W3Ma, and the handle is John.
Roger, John, and I'm copying your call as W3Ma. Is that a Roger?
That is Roger.
All right, John, and the name here is Jim, Juliet India Mike, and the call is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, and we're located just across the Ohio River from Louisville, Kentucky. We are on the Indiana side of the mighty Ohio River, right at Louisville. Roger?
Yeah, fine, Jim. Very good. Copying you quite well. KC9, Victor, W3Ma. And gosh, we've had a cold day today. Spring is just trying to spring, but we get a warm day every once in a while. But the last couple of days have been kind of, let me just say, early spring. The tulips and daffodils are up, but boy, they've got to be shivering. We're using a TS 950 SDX, a sloping dipole. Actually, it slopes more to the east, but it's pretty much vertical. Anyway, I just wanted to say hello, and sort of quite interesting, your comments to different people. The last fellow you just talked to, I didn't hear him much at all, but I did hear you talk about the SDR radios in different locations. I kind of think that that's how a lot of DXs work anymore. They have the radios on in different areas, and like you might do, switch between different sites and find out which one is putting in the strongest signal, and then off they go. They have to work them, of course, but theoretically, I think they should have to hear them too themselves. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents worth. And I know you wanted to go, but I know you might want to comment on my signal. So I would appreciate it. KC9VKV W3Ma.
Roger, John, pretty good signal. We could make it a little fatter if you would like.
What do you mean by that?
A little bit more louder. It starts. There's a setup process that we do. It starts with your compressor and turning that compressor on, but only at about a 3. We don't want that compressor where you can hear it sucking up. So we just suggest a 3. Engage your compressor at about a 3.
Okay. Well, here's my compressor fault to let you know. It's off now. So I'm going to get started to you for a quickie. This is my compressor off.
What we suggest is turn your compressor on at about a 3.
Okay, now the compressor is on. I would say it's about a 3, and I would say she's probably. No, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Didn't even have it up to a 3. All right, now it's more up to a 3. And I guess I would say this is probably more optimum right about now. How's that sound?
Well, if you have a rotary control, that actually, physical pot, it would probably be about the 10 o'clock position. All we're looking for from that compressor is about a third of its capabilities, about 3 out of 10, 30 out of 100, or 10 o'clock clock time on the pot. Roger, Roger.
Oh, Roger. Yeah.
Okay, and then after we get that compressor in line at about a 3, we move to the ALC. And with your mic gain in hand, look at your ALC and adjust the mic gain until your ALC is running mid-scale to 2/3. Mid-scale to 2/3 on the ALC by way of adjusting your mic gain control.
Oh, Jim, we doubled on that. Go ahead and talk about those adjustments, and I'll just listen.
Okay, sir. Do you know where your ALC is, your ALC meter?
Oh, I certainly do.
Okay, with mic gain in hand, adjust your ALC reading where it's mid-scale to 2/3. Adjust your mic gain control to where your ALC meter is running mid-scale to 2/3. Yeah, John, Mother Nature has temporarily put you in my noise level. So hopefully she'll come back and we'll be back in business. This is KC9VKV.
Mike Alpha W3Ma. How's that sound?
I think we're coming, John. I copied you pretty good there. Give me 10 seconds of you telling me about your antenna system.
Okay, the antenna system is a sloping dipole, half-wave dipole, and it slopes to the northeast. And I was out looking at it yesterday, and it actually is probably has much more vertical in it than it does have horizontal. It's just the way, it comes off the tower and comes almost vertically down. And the leg at the base comes out more. It's not straight. I didn't want to pull it too tightly. In other words, I think the feed line is what pulls the base of pulls the part attached to the top of the tower more into a vertical, whereas the bottom one is kind of a little more horizontal. So it's kind of, but it's called a sloping dipole, but that's the way it is. KC9VKV W3Ma.
Roger, John. I think you got it, sir. You're pretty loud and it sounds good, nice and clean, but fat, as we say. So I think it does real well. If you get a chance, we are recording, and if you want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, that will be our QSO-VLOG page. And on that page, we'll be posting this up, and it'll have your call sign in the title. Roger, Roger?
Roger, I appreciate that. It'd be interesting to hear. And I think there are some places around. I'm not sure where they are exactly, but I think there are places around that hear you. I'm not sure that what they might be called. They might be called skimmers or something like that. Anyway, but this has been an interesting conversation. And I know you need to go because I heard you chat with us all before. Anyway, it's been a pleasure. You have a good day. And I've got your frequency noted and just may stop in occasionally, particularly on Friday afternoon. You have a great one, Jim. KC9, Victor King Victor from W3 Mike Alpha, 73.
Roger, John, and your dynamic range now is 3 dB, which is what we were trying to shoot after. So it is what it is, 3 dB, so that means your average percent of peak modulation is between 80 and 85%, so it's a nice, fat, clean audio signal. Roger?
Oh, thank you. The only other part that needs improving, I guess, would be myself. I just don't have a great voice, an audio voice. In fact, I was listening to a tap-up frequency that it was on a net. I'm not sure. It was just above 200. They were passing some messages and that sort of thing, some traffic. And gosh, did he have a good voice. And I'll never forget, many years ago, I was tuning across 20 meters and was listening to this guy, and I couldn't believe how great he sounded. And it turned out to be Roy Neal from the NBC News. I think he was Kc2Zvm or something like that. And I mean, there's nothing you can do about it, what comes out of your mouth. I mean, that's the problem. Of course, you know, transmitters and what have you can do a lot to try to improve it and that sort of thing. But having a great voice is a tremendous attribute, wouldn't you say so?
I would say the most important thing is intelligibility. You know, the important thing is that you understand what's being said. And you can have a great voice, but if you're speaking in French or Chinese or Mongolian, you know, you're not going to do the job. You can have the greatest voice in the world. And, you know, it is a matter of being able to perceive what the words are. So the cleaner we can make the audio, the more precise people can hear. And one of the things that is really, I think, important is to run a foam windscreen, which is what I'm doing now. And the foam windscreen takes all of the mouth noises, the transients, the plosives. It just reduces all of that, eliminates all of that. So what you're doing is hearing the words, not a bunch of mouth noises. I've heard stations where the mouth noises were actually louder than the words. And the guy is actually QRMing himself because, you know, he was, you know, so much mouth noise on the mic. So a nice $3 foam windscreen just solves all those problems, Roger.
Yeah, I heard you talk, I think it was the fellow before this last one, about somebody that needed a windscreen. I hear you. I really do. In fact, I have a boom mic headset that has a screen on it, and I tend to use it, you know, when I'm sitting back and spending a lot more time. This is just a hand mic. I just picked it up off the desk and gave you a call. But I hear you, and in getting through what you're trying to say is the most important thing. But I guess it was just the quality of the voice from this Kc2Zvm way back then. It just, you know, I was tuning across 20 meters, and I came across this signal and listened to him, and it just sounded just unbelievable. You know, I just paused and listened, and in fact, I think I might have even, you know, had my wife listen to it. I just couldn't believe how good this guy's voice sounded. But we're all gifted with different things, and I don't think mine is a voice quality. But hopefully you understood what I said. Anyway, Jim, have a good day. KC9VKV W3Ma.
Roger. And so, John, you're running a hand mic. Is that a Roger?
Right now I am, yes.
All right, let me give you a secret about operating a hand mic. You don't want to talk directly into it. You want to pull it to the side of your mouth and talk across it. Do not work directly into it. Just pull it to the side of your mouth and talk across it. Roger?
I'm doing that right now. So I was talking like this before, right into it. Now I'm talking across it. Does it sound different?
It sounds a lot better now. What I would suggest as you're talking across it now, that you go back to your ALC with your mic gain and talk that way, and then you probably want to pull your mic level down to where, again, your ALC is running mid-scale to 2/3. But you want to run that mic, across it, just like you were doing, Roger.
Yeah, okay, very good. Well, I've got... that might be a little bit too much, but anyway, that's that. I think, does that sound any different?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. You got it going now. Yeah, you have 90% of the secrets. There's 10% that I'm holding back that we can do for another day. Roger?
Okay, fine, Jim. Well, thank you very much, and you have a good day. I appreciate it. We'll keep track of you. You behave yourself.
KC9 Victor King Victor from W3Ma 73.
Roger, Roger, John. And again, we'll be posting this recording up on YouTube in the next 48 hours. So if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to our QSO-VLOG page, and you'll be looking for a QSO-VLOG that has your call sign in the title. Hopefully, I've not spoken to too many people. I can't get all the call signs in the title, but that you should be looking for your call sign. Roger?
Okay, Roger, Tim. I'll look forward to seeing it and listening to it. Thank you very much.
Roger, 3's that way, sir. And we will be concluding our test for this afternoon. The OSB 220 sounds to be running perfectly. Thank goodness. When it comes to repair or replace, the decision to do either one depends on the difficulty in getting to whatever it is you're working on. And the more difficult it is to get to it, the more inclined I am to replace it as opposed to repair it. But the SB220 antenna changeover relay is not that difficult to get to, and I have conditioned it now. I have pulled the plastic see-through cover off the relay so I can work on the contacts very quickly, and so I can afford to repair it a few times. Hopefully every maybe 6 months or a year would be nice. If it gets too much past that, then I will think about replacement. Anyway, got to jump out of here. 3's all. Thanks for joining me, and again, we will be on this frequency tomorrow afternoon between 3:30 and 5 on our QSO-VLOG net. So until then, 3's KC9VKV clear.